Hello and welcome to Psychic World Net. This is the YouTube channel for the website psychicworld.net, which will be launched next week. And thank you for watching, and do please like and subscribe. I'm going to talk today about a haunting at HM Prison Wormwood Scrubs when I was working there as a prison officer in 1975-76. It would be around about January of 76, I believe, and I was on nights, that is night duty. That's from 9 p.m. till 7 in the morning. Well, that's when you got off duty. And I was allocated to D-Wing, which was the lifers wing in Wormwood Scrubs. It held numerous notorious gangsters like Gordon Goody, who was one of the train robbers, the great train robbers. It held, what was his name? Tony Lambriano, who was one of the hitmen for the Cray twins. Leslie Grantham was there, who went on to be Dirty Den. Many high-profile inmates on D-Wing. Of course, when I came on duty at 9 o'clock, they were all locked up. And my job was to patrol the landings. I was on my own completely. So you've probably got 200, maybe 250 inmates on D-Wing. And I'm on my own, and what you had to do was every hour, well, every half an hour, you had to go and turn a clock, which was it fed into a system, and it recorded that you were patrolling. There was one on the ones at the far end of the landing, and there was one on the fours at the far end of the landing. So you had to patrol round and go up and down the stairs and click the thing. Now, I doubt that many of you will have actually been inside a prison at midnight, but it is a very strange place. As I was patrolling D-Wing, I got the feeling, that I wasn't on my own, despite the fact that obviously I wasn't on my own. All the residents were locked into their cells and ostensibly asleep. But I did feel that there was a presence there. So it got to be about midnight, and there was an alarm bell rang on the fourth landing, right at the top, at the far end. And so obviously I had to go and investigate to see what was going on. So I got up to the top of the fours, and behind the door, an inmate was banging on his door and shouting at me, "Boss, there's a woman in here, boss, there's a woman in here." So I had to take a little while to calm him down and assure him that under no circumstances would there be a female presence in his cell. He kept saying, "Oh, she's been sitting on my bed, boss, she's sitting on my bed." I said, "No, what you've experienced is a nightmare. You've woken up and imagined this. It's not your fault. It happens many times to many people." So I spent about 25 minutes with him, calming him down and assuring him that the lady that he'd seen was little more than a figment of his imagination. Of course, as I spent all this time calming him down and persuading him to go and get back into his bed, I missed the clock that was supposed to turn at 1/2 the hour. So anyway, there was an incident book, and I wrote the incident up in the book: cell number, name of the inmate, time that it happened, how I dealt with it. And I thought no more about it, really, until the next morning. The senior officer in charge of the wings came over to see me, and he said, Mr. Sutton, he said, you missed the alarm, the clock clocking in at midnight. He said, why is that? I said, well, I wasn't asleep. I was dealing with an incident on the fourth landing. And I showed him the incident book and what I'd written up. And I said that this man was telling me that he'd seen a female in his cell sitting on the bed. And he was panicking. And it took me 25 minutes or so to calm him down, during which time I missed the clocking in. I said, but I assured him, that there was no way that a female could be in his cell, as this was a male prison, and that there were no females present whatsoever. And the senior officer, who'd been at the scrubs for about 20 years or so himself, then he told me, he said, there are no females in D-Wing. He said, but shortly after World War II, this D-Wing was a female prison. And on that landing, at that top, there was a lady whose baby was taken from her. You see, when female prisoners in the 1940s, 1950s had babies in prison, they were allowed to keep the child for the first 6 months. And then the child was taken away, possibly for adoption, or put to foster parents or wherever. So the senior officer then told me that following the child being taken from this woman, she suffered some kind of nervous breakdown, took herself to the railings on the fourth landing, which is about 50 foot up, and threw herself off. She threw herself off and crashed to the floor and was instantly killed. He said, I don't want to spook you too much, he said, but there have been numerous reports of people seeing this particular spirit. He said, when you were patrolling the landings, did you feel that there was something following you? I said, yeah, I did actually. He said, yeah, it's very common. He said, it's extremely haunted, and she's one of the ghosts of D-Wing. And the inmate who had said he'd seen this woman on his bed had very likely seen a ghost. The spirit of the dead prisoner who killed herself all those years ago when her baby was removed from her. This is Psychic World Net. I sincerely hope you're enjoying these videos. We'll do the first live broadcast in June. So best build up a little bit of an audience first. Make a note in your diary. We'll do it on a Wednesday. The first Wednesday in June at 7 p.m. I'd like you all to join in, and you can ask me questions. I mean, I'm vastly experienced in researching paranormal phenomena. I sincerely hope that you have enjoyed this. This is John G. Sutton, and next week we should launch psychicworld.net, the revamp of my website. Tales from the Jails is another one of my YouTube channels, which you can see that. In the meantime, be safe.